Hey, how you doing? I thought I'd do something a bit different in this video because it's something I stumbled across when I'm trying to organise all my fabric stash. Now, obviously I run an online fabric store and I was looking for ways of organising my fabric so that I could see at a glance what I've got, and also I can categorise it. I give each one of my products a product number, and I wanted to be able to see at a glance which fabric, in terms of the swatch, the sample, referred to which product number. And when I was putting this together, I thought, wouldn't that be a great idea for the home user, the home sewer? So I started to think about how that might look. I did lots of research online, and there's loads of ideas on Pinterest, isn't there, as always, and it can get a bit daunting, but I think I found a really simple way for me to see which fabrics I've got at a glance, and also how that relates to the patterns I'd like to turn them into. So I'll share it with you now. So here's my little swatch board. Now, I've brought this home from the office because I like things to be visual. I know lots of people like things tucked away and neat, and that's great, but for me, I'll forget about them if they're stuck in a drawer. Now with fabric, because they fade in the sunlight and the daylight, you need to keep them tucked away. And I've done a video on how I store mine, wrapped around comic card and stored into a cupboard, and I'll pop some links to pictures here so that you can have a look, and also I'll pop a link to that video underneath if you've not caught up with that one from quite a long time ago. So what this is little samples of the fabrics that I'm working with currently, let's say, and on this side I've got miniature versions of the patterns that I'd like to match them with. So this is really me thinking about how I want to use my fabrics and what pattern I'm going to sew next. I'll just pop this down. I'll give you a close-up so that you can see this much better rather than you keep straining over my shoulder. There we go. Pop that up there. So how I made these was, many crafters and sewers have also got lots of card making things as well. I have anyway. I used to make my own cards, and I hate waste, and I've got one of those Sizzix machines, you know, that cut out the little templates for things. And I've just got one of these simple dies. It came in a set. I've got one of those Sizzix Big Shot machines with the big handle that you turn through, and I just wanted to create something that was quite nice to look at. I know this is a step too far for most people, but I wanted to look at something and, you know, have it a bit of decoration as well. You don't have to do this, there are other ways to do it, but I'll show you how I did. So I just cut out the little bit of cards that you can see there, and then on the front I've popped a little white, you can't see, it's a bit bright for you, a little white nameplate there. And all I did was simply pop a little bit of sample fabric behind that, and then write on here my own product number, what it is. So in your case, you might write whether it's a jersey or a stretch or how much you've got of it. That would be quite helpful. So you might say 2 meters of pastel jersey stripe, and then you've got this. At a glance, when you're wondering, if you're lucky enough to have a sewing room, you can pop it on the wall and wander in and think, I really must make something with that pastel jersey, rather than just buy more and more fabric and chucking it on the pile and then not really knowing what's underneath. So it's a kind of a cute way of just you seeing at a glance what you've got. Now, you don't have to create a board this large. I deliberately bought one because I'm going to put loads of fabrics on my new stock that comes in, and that helps me. But as I started doing it, because it'd be hugely boring if I did it for every fabric I stock, I started to think about, actually it'd be much better to do this for my own stash and what I'm going to sew next. So with these patterns that I've matched on the right, so these are from my Make 9 list here. So all I've done is I've just found the image online, and then it's a little bit bright for you, isn't it? And then I'll pop a close up here for you, and then just printed off a small version. So if you know how to do a screen grab and print that, great. If you can't, get someone to help you, or even draw it as a sketch. And then I can think, I know, I'm going to make the medallion top with this jersey, and you could start to pair them up, and you could have all sorts. You could just put swatches straight on this board if you wanted to. And I've also seen, you know, those cardboard luggage style tags that you can get from the supermarket, really, that they're called luggage tags. You could just really cut out, get your serrated scissors out and cut a little swatch for yourself and stick it on and pop that somewhere that you can see. So that's my little plan for how I'm gonna organise my stash a bit better, so that I know what's tucked behind those cupboard doors or those drawers where I've actually put my fabric. And there are other ways you can do it too. So I've stumbled across these sewing logbooks that I found on Amazon, of all places. And in here, I'll pop a close up for you here so you can see. In here, these are different ones. So one's for fabric. This one's specifically called Fabric Inventory Notebook. And if you're a person that likes everything tucked away, or you want to pop it in your bag to take with you when you go fabric shopping, you can see what you've got already. In here, you could have a little fabric swatch. There's also the name of it, the content, where you bought it from, how much you've got, how wide it is, because that's often handy, isn't it, when you're out buying maybe a pattern and you think, I think I've got a couple of meters of that, but does it need 150 wide, or will 110 centimetre wide be enough? And that's really handy. And you've also got a little place for how much you've used up as well. So if you've sewn a 1.5 metre skirt and you've got 0.5 metre left, you'll know that from here. So it lets you keep track of everything, as well as the costs that you paid. There's loads of space in here. I don't think it's particularly strong, this book. I wonder how many swatches you could get in here before it starts to feel a bit shabby. I'm not quite sure if you'd fit this many in, but I think for most people, it depends how sensible a stash you've got, but for most I think this would be plenty. And this is a sewing logbook as well. So what's nice about this is there's all sorts of things in there, so I'll take you through it close up now. So you've got an index of all the patterns that you own, and this is a nice way to write down all the patterns that you've got. I've got so many patterns. I've bought patterns twice because I didn't realise I'd already got them, and that's not good, is it? So it really need to get sorted for this kind of stuff to save money as well. And then there's a page for measurements. So you've got the name of the person. So if you're sewing for someone else as well, not always just you. You've got your bust, waist, hip measurements, chest if it's for a man. And then you've got details like shoulder, neck, nape to waist, waist to hip, and so on, inside leg. So that's quite handy. And after the measurements section, you've got notes. And then what I liked about this book the most was you can pop pattern information in along with your project. So you've got which product you're sewing, which fabric, any notes. So sometimes when I make alterations to patterns, I always tend to write on extended the waist by 2 inches and so on. But what if you forget? You know, it would be handy to have somewhere all together where you can keep that information in one place, and that would be good for this too. You've also got machine settings, so you're not having to learn it twice if you come back to something 2 years later. And then you've also got an evaluation. So this would be good if you vlog or you blog your patterns. It's a nice way to keep your notes as you're going through. When I review a pattern for YouTube, I tend to just write it on a bit of notepad. But wouldn't it be nice to keep it all in one place, and you could have a flick through and hopefully try and let the learning sink in a bit more as well. So this is really great for that. And of course, not everything's paper and visual and old school. There are some apps that you can download to your phone which will help too. I'll take you through a couple of those now. Here we've got the Patterns Lite app, and this allows you to upload all the patterns that you own. You can add photographs, you can put the detail in there, you can add notes, and also pair these patterns with the fabric that you'd like to make into them. And you can add details about your fabric, including the width and how much you've got. So it's a really great way to put everything in one place on your phone, and that's great when you're shopping. You can, of course, use organiser apps like Trello. I've seen this mentioned a lot for people organising their patterns. And it's basically where you can create lots of lists, lots of checkboxes with lots of information in there, and you can manage it how you like it, really. My personal favourite is Wunderlist. I don't really use it massively for sewing. I've got everything else in my life on there, and it's really handy to create lots of things to do lists, and you can share these lists as well, so it's handy. Have a look and see what suits you. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any new videos. So I hope that's given you a few ideas about how you can organise your sewing life. I know there'll be a million and one other ways to do it too. I think it's always worth matching it to your learning style. It's taking me back to my business days. So if you're a visual person like me, I like stuff out, I like things to see, I like things written or done by hand. If you're a techie and you like uber minimalism, then it's nice to have it as an app on your phone, or you could have a mixture of the two. So you could have maybe all your patterns on your phone and your fabric organised in a different way. So there's lots to think about. I hope it's given you a few ideas. Check out my other video about how I store my fabric and how I organise it in the cupboard. I find that quite easy as well, so that you've got something where you can open the doors and you can see everything lined up, and that's a good way to spot what you've got when you're thinking, do I really need to buy any more fabric? But you could shop your stash first instead. You could also use more simple methods using your phone as well, without the need for an app. For example, you could take photos of all your fabric and store them in a file on your phone. So you could click it to your favourites or set up a separate folder for those. If you're looking to save space on your phone, like most of us, you could store everything in a Dropbox or a cloud-based filing system. And there are lots of different ways that I'm sure you'll have access to some of these things. So use what you've got and try which method works for you. I almost forgot to tell you what I was wearing. I make no apologies for wearing a Linden again. I made this a while ago. You probably recognise it if you've watched other videos. It's a Linden sweatshirt from the Grainline studio in this totally bonkers velour, stretched velour. Now, I was hoping to create another one actually. I've got this most amazing silver Foxy velour in stock. I've only got a little bit left, and I seem to be making things to match my silver hair. So anyway, I'll try and do that for next time for you. But have a look. It'll all my things tend to be silver at the moment, but it's coming along, isn't it? Look, I'm nearly white. It's going. I think I'm 229 days in, dye free. So that's the last time I dyed my hair. Anyway, I'll not bore you with my hair trials and tribulations, but I thought you'd want to know. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Give me a thumbs up, a like and subscribe, and that'd be really great. And I'll see you next time. You take care. Bye for now.